Trump's first interview of his second term is officially over, as he did it with softball interviewer Sean Hannity, obviously, yet still managed to say some completely mind-numbingly, outrageously stupid things. There's just not enough adjectives I can fit in there, but we're going to look over them and fact-check what we can.
Los Angeles has changed everything because a lot of money is going to be necessary for Los Angeles. And a lot of people on the other side want that to happen. And
North Carolina, too.
Fast. Well, they don't care about North Carolina. The Democrats don't care about North Carolina. What they've done with FEMA is so bad. FEMA is a whole nother discussion because all it does is complicate everything. FEMA has not done their job for the last 4 years. You know, I had FEMA working really well. We had hurricanes in Florida. We had Alabama, tornadoes. But unless you have certain types of leadership, it gets in the way. And FEMA is going to be a whole big discussion very shortly because I'd rather see the states take care of their own problems. If they have a tornado someplace and if they let that state, Oklahoma is very competent. I love Oklahoma. 77 out of 77 districts.
Even here at the end, he couldn't help but talk about how great he did. He thinks Oklahoma is competent because they voted for him, and that's literally all that matters. It should go without saying that not only is what he's saying here insane, but red states are much poorer on average. They would be the ones with the harder time trying to foot the bill of their own costs after emergencies. But why should they have to? What is the system of the federal government? What is the purpose if not to provide aid and assistance on a mass level to its people after disasters? Remember when it was the red states dealing with hurricanes and Trump and Republicans were saying that Biden needs to do more. Biden's federal government isn't doing enough. Well, now, because it's a blue state dealing with it when Trump comes into office, he's talking about not even sending aid. Yet, when there was tornadoes in his first term, he went out of his way to Sharpie the map just to include a red state of Alabama to receive the federal aid.
Some of those people with the police, true, but they were very minor incidents, okay? You know, they get built up by a couple of fake guys that are on CNN all the time.
Nobody watches.
They were very minor incidents, and it was time. You have murderers in Philadelphia. You have murderers in Los Angeles that don't even get any time. They don't even collect them, and they know they're there to be collected. And then they go on television and act holier than thou about this one or that one. You had 1,500 people that suffered.
Minor incidents. Julian Cater pepper sprayed the cop who died from a stroke the next day. David Dempsey curb stomped police officers in the head multiple times, multiple officers. He then hit another in the head with a metal object and was swinging broken furniture at cops. DJ Rodriguez tased multiple cops. I mean, the list goes on, right? It's not minor incidents. Multiple cops committed suicide because of what they experienced in this event. A cop who was brutally attacked again died from a stroke the next day. Hundreds of cops were injured. Many were never able to return to service. There were brain injuries suffered, head trauma, permanent hearing loss, but just a minor incident, right?
Would you want the Attorney General to investigate it?
You know, I was always against that with presidents and Hillary Clinton. I could have had Hillary Clinton a big number done on her.
Have you changed your mind?
And I didn't want to. Well, I went through 4 years of hell by this scum that we had to deal with. I went through 4 years of hell. I spent millions of dollars in legal fees, and I won. But I did it the hard way. It's really hard to say that they shouldn't have to go through it also. It is very hard to say that. Joe Biden, remember this, Joe Biden got very bad advice because, like he has in everything.
Hunter's laptop.
He got bad advice on Ukraine. He got bad advice that war should have never started. He got bad advice on Israel. He got bad advice on the way he got out of Afghanistan. We should have gotten out with strength and dignity, not like a bunch of losers.
Okay, so much is wrong here, but first let's point out the Kremlin talking point. The war started between Russia and Ukraine in 2014. This idea that it started under Biden is weird to me. It's like a Kremlin talking point co-opted by MAGA because they're co-opted by Kremlin, but also because then they can say Biden bad because he started war. But when Putin invaded Crimea unprovoked, that was the start of the Ukraine war in 2015. The war continued under Trump. Fighting never stopped in the Donbass under Trump, where he largely ignored it despite our agreement with Ukraine. You can even watch Zelensky on Lex Fridman, where he talks about this, talked about how they had a ceasefire with Putin, and Putin pretty much just threw it to the side and was still attacking them. This is when Trump was in office. And then that led to actual conflicts with both sides fighting in the region. Also, he did relentlessly try to investigate Hillary throughout his entire presidency. This revisionist history is weird. He literally fired Comey, the head of the FBI, because he told him there was nothing they could charge Hillary with, that he was not going to continue the investigations, but was going to investigate Trump for Russian collusion. He went on to then try and investigate her with other FBI directors, with the IRS, through her organizations and her charities connected to her and her husband, all the way until he left office. And he tried to hide none of it, is the thing. Like, when it was happening, he was open about it. It was part of his message to rile up his base. But when he switched to like, okay, well, now I have to be the victim of political persecution, and that was his messaging, he of course had to change the Hillary story from, one that gets his base to chant "lock her up" to then pretending that he took mercy on her and nobody's taking mercy on him. And of course, MAGA just goes with it because they don't hold any real principles. Furthermore, Merrick Garland dragged his feet on prosecuting Trump. Had he treated Trump like he would any regular person, Trump would probably be in jail. He would have had all his trials. It wouldn't have taken 3 years to get one trial. He did so in hopes that it wouldn't look like political warfare, that it wouldn't look like he was targeting the other party, right? Which he greatly underestimated the propaganda machine of the right to where they were going to call it that no matter what happened. Even after 2 appeals courts, the conservative majority Supreme Court with Trump handpicked judges upheld the legitimacy of his trial. Like, he's now using the fact that he committed the crimes, that he raped a woman and was sued for it, that he committed massive fraud to somehow justify, again, using his AG to target his political opponents. Like, this is just what he does. It's what he did in his first time. He just now feels like he can have a justification for it, when in reality, he's just got his base to blame Democrats for the thing that he actually does, politically targeting your enemies, of which also never happened to Trump. Not in any of his appeals did any court or any judge ever hold up this insane argument. Not in any of the indictments, not in any civil suit, not in any verdict. That's in front of conservative judges, in front of judges he picked, that he appointed. What more could you want to do? These people just want to anoint a king. If after the point he has gone through every process in the legal and judicial system, and they're saying like, no, you've been freely and fairly targeted, there's literally nothing you can tell these people. There's nothing. They just want a king.